What's good, TSF Entertainment Podcast fans and YouTube? We are back for Season 8 Power Force. He ain't heavy. Episode 8. He ain't heavy. Hey, we here with the family Retro CG, Miss Honey, Jack of Jordans, and Really BTV. What's up, fam?
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Hey, y'all.
All right, y'all. So, man, what y'all think about the episode? What we thinking?
It was less comic booky for me this week.
Okay, so no Thanos in search of the Infinity Stone.
Yeah, I wasn't waiting for Thanos to show up with the Infinity Stone this time.
Okay, got
it. Thanos is not going to show up with the Infinity Stone because Gloria has all the stones. All the stones, right?
Well, we know where Gloria is.
Oh, she drove them down to hell.
Look at Retro. Look at Retro. Get out of here. We're gonna have to deal with this the whole time, y'all.
Is this where cue the horn tooting? We're gonna go ahead and give Retro his accolades. Retro cut Gloria's water off episode 2.
He definitely shut her water off a few episodes.
And her gas and her power and everything. Kay
shut it all
that.
Off.
Yeah. And do you feel vindicated for Pinky Toes now? Because that totally blindsided you, obviously. This you saw coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Kudos. Well, when I was watching it, I was like, oh!
They all were too. And never mind the fact that I made it unbearable for them to actually enjoy the episode because I kept sending a list of I told you so's throughout.
Oh no, let's be clear. Let's be very clear. I keep my phone on silent, so I didn't even see him.
I'll find a new method.
Look! You heard him. So now he's just gonna blow my phone up. He's gonna call me.
Yeah. All right, so the episode starts off with
oh, thank you, keep it cute. What's up, girl?
So the episode starts off with Tommy meeting up with the distros. These were the crews that he was doing the deliveries for Rojas when Rojas gang had kidnapped him and Diamond and Jannard. So we knew later on in the season that Tommy was going to go back to them and serve to them. So he's bringing his key, the designer drug, Dahlia, and he's selling it for $55K per key. Wow. And this is the cheap version. How much did the expensive version cost? Because the cheap version is going for $55K per key. Mm-hmm. Dang. Tommy getting that money.
All right.
I mean, he's running the streets, and then they're setting it up like it's a couple of weeks later, maybe, or a week or so later.
Some time has passed, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a good setup. It was a good reference to Tommy really, really being in this thing, and doing this thing. Like, this is a good look for Tommy. He's already got 2 major distros, right? He's making boss moves, period. I mean, he's doing it. He's doing it.
We already touched bases on 55 a brick for
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
His problem is gonna be his partner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Liliana?
No.
Oh, it's gonna be
no, not Liliana.
Liliana's his rider.
Yeah, Liliana is gonna always be down. Like, she is down with like 4 flat tires for Tommy.
Talk to me, Tommy.
His problem
Talk to
is
me.
going to be because you saw. Well, I don't want to jump ahead, but yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
So the next scene we have Walter at his doctor's appointment. We finally get to see him go to a doctor's appointment, which I kind of felt like they could have kept that scene because we already knew what his situation was. We didn't really need the confirmation. And then his reaction to finding out that he has stage 1 lung cancer it was like you've been coughing in up a lung the entire season. Like you knew you've been sick. We knew you've been sick. We didn't really need
I
that.
thought it was
gonna
going to
be
be.
stage
I
one,
thought it was
though.
going to be further. I thought it was going to be further along than that.
Right.
Yeah.
When they said stage one, like this man had blacked out and fell all on the damn floor. He'd have been called, like you said, coughing up a lung and everything. And then all of a sudden, it's stage one. I thought they was gonna say like stage 4 or something, like it was terminal.
Can I?
And the way he's acting like it's terminal, right?
Okay.
What, Miss Honey?
Walter gets information from the doctor. He acts like he got this diagnosis and maybe he got up and walked out of the office. And now he's reapproaching. And the doctor says, hey, listen, this is completely curable. Like you do not have to
die.
Set your entire family on fire because you have this looming death. This is in the early stages. Let me just go in and bada bing, bada boom. You could go back to running your drug cartel, right? Like you don't have to set fire to your kids' lives and their hopes and dreams.
Right.
You don't have to do that. Right. He's like, nah. I've already set my plan on dying. Okay. I don't want to hear all this life stuff. Like it was so nonsensical. And then to carry that conversation over still with Vic, you know, shooting down his hopes and dreams. He doesn't even broach the subject with Claudia while shooting down her hopes and dreams.
Yep.
I wanted her to push his monkey dunk over that doggone railing and be done with him. You
definitely want to turn water
like
off.
you don't even you're not dying. You're not dying. You don't have to die. Like they say, it's right. Yeah.
Especially when the doctor told him that there's multiple treatments available for him.
This is not like your wife's situation. He was like, I got a storyline in place. It involves me dying. I don't want to hear all this life stuff. It was just completely and utterly ridiculous. Because for a brief moment there, I thought, oh, Vic doesn't have to worry. Walter doesn't have to worry about who's going to be in charge when he's gone. This is what he's going to do, and it's going to be fine. Until he proceeded on in the situation, I was just like, Walter, what the? Okay. Obviously, we're moving this storyline to a place where it's either going to be Claude or Vic that gets rid of their dad long before cancer ever has a chance.
I think it's going to be Claudia. I think it's going to be.
I don't know because they did the whole Gloria thing for a reason, and Vic is the bigger dullard of the two siblings. Claudia's sneaky, but Victor is the dunce. He wears the dunce hat.
Yeah, I mean, you would think at this point he's at like stage 4, and he's getting ready to go. So to find this out, you know, it's like, why aren't you willing to explore options that will keep you alive longer?
It's misplaced storyline. I'm telling you, it's misplaced storyline.
Right. When I saw him in the office waiting on the talking to the doctor, I started hearing "Take Me to the King" in my head. Like he out of here. This dude got stage 1, bro.
But remember, early on, he had a conversation with the doctor who was recommending medicine, and he was, that's the conversation that Vic walked in on.
Right.
Remember? And now it's like he's hearing for the first time that it's not that bad. I don't know. Like I said, it's okay that you guys are gonna shoot all these scenes, but if you're not gonna thoughtfully place them that in a way that gives the storyline flow.
We should have saw this scene episode 1. That should be like the first scene that Walter was introduced in episode 1, that he was getting the news about the cancer, and now let the season progress with us knowing that he has it. So yeah, I agree.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So
Xavier got a good point though. He said Walter wants to go on to be with his wife. He's probably depressed and suicidal. And I can see that. I can see that being somewhat valid.
Let me not poo-poo your thoughts and feelings, Xavier. You're very smart, super, super witty, but come on.
No, he's what we see.
I think that Walter
is what he is.
I think that Walter has been through this before with his wife, and he automatically assumed that his symptoms matched what his wife went through, and because you notice everybody keeps telling him it doesn't have to be like with your wife. And I think
Right.
Walter had made up in his mind, like Miss Honey said, he had made up in his mind, I'm dying. And that's why he didn't want to go to the doctor, because he figured he already knew the answers. And now the doctor's telling him, you don't really have to die. You know you can live. And it's like, oh, shit. What do I do
Like,
now?
really?
Because he had made up in his mind that this was his last will and testament. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he knows what to do at this point.
He's so dug in on crushing Claude. It's a little weird. It's a little weird how obsessed he's with. I mean, I know he says that she's the foundation of their entire organization, maybe because she's the money girl, but he's a little obsessed with crushing Claude. I don't know. It's kind of creepy.
He likes to control.
He likes to control, but I also think part of it is he really, truly is one of those people, one of these men and women, they're women too, but he really, truly is one of these people that has decided that men are superior, women are inferior, and that women can't. And I think Vic is such a disappointment, and Claudia is all the things that he needed in Vic. And he doesn't know how to reconcile that. Because Vic is doing just like he knows that Claudia is up to something, he just can't figure that shit out. But he knows that Claudia is making moves, and she doesn't need him, and she really doesn't need his organization. He don't know what to do with that. She's supposed to be meek and mild, like we said. I think Chris said it a couple of episodes back. It's supposed to be like with Monet when old boy got out of jail, and he was like, here's some money, go shopping. It's like, all right, you held it down, but that's not your role. I'm daddy's home, and this is your role, and it's almost like that same mindset.
But why are they pushing Walter's character in this way? Last episode, he was concerned about the Serbs, going to war with Serbs, rallied the little troops that we have. We're going to war against the Serbs. In this episode, he spends no time on the Serb conversation. You dilly-dallying over here with the doctor, giving her the bird. You playing this game with Tommy. He gives you the bird. and
hilarious.
And I mean, and you're working on basically destroying and turning your kids against you, and no conversation about the Serbs. You do manage to, however, clear up your name and Paulie's name as it pertains to Gloria.
Right.
But still no Serbs. Still no Serbs conversation. We have not seen anything but this drama from Walter. Am I the drama? Am I the villain? Yes, absolutely, Walter. Absolutely. I mean, you got bigger fish to fry. Like, what's up?
It's day one.
Yeah.
So Tommy and Liliana are back at his place, and they're packing up the keys to get them out on the street. And they start having a conversation about the doctor. Liliana informs Tommy that, hey, I've got the recipe memorized. If we don't need her anymore, let's get rid of her. Tommy's like, nah. In fact, we need to get another cook. We need to run this 24/7. We need to run these 8-hour shifts, and so that way we can keep up with the demand, And so, what do y'all think about that scene?
I think that with that one, it was needed, because I mean, at some point, it's like everybody's trying to X out the doc. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to X out the first chemist. I think that basically she's valuable, but now that with Liliana's learning, the whole aspect of how to produce it, I think that personally, you know what I'm saying, she definitely needs to stick around. So the idea of an 8-hour shift and having more people there, that was a good plan. That was needed.
I think she's gonna turn into a liability.
Well, Liliana seems to be keeping her in check. What I loved about this scene was it gave me, and I know I keep referencing original power, but it gave me that original power. That whole dynamic between Tommy and Liliana, I just like it. I like the way it flows. I like the energy behind it. I love the juxtaposition between what she has said and what she is doing as it pertains to Tommy being chicken breast, and we find out JP is all thigh in her eye.
The two of them were hilarious.
Right, that dog me. Like, it's so classic. I love this scene. I love the conversation. I love that they stay on task and on point with the conversation. it was just really, really good. And I think it was a brilliant leadership move on his part to say, nah, let's get another cook. If we got distribution issues, now is not the time to get rid of a cook. We need to add a cook. And I thought it was smart. I liked it.
And what's going to make you're right, Miss Honey, it does bring you back to the Ghost and Tommy parallel, where they're discussing business and next moves in business. You know, they're moving their chess pieces around on the board and seeing who's their most valuable player and, you know, what they need to further their agenda along. That's why it's going to be so disappointing for all of us who love Liliana.
Oh no. Don't do this.
If you turn her
Don't do this,
water
Retro.
off, I'm coming to talk to you.
Retro is
Oh, don't
becoming the
talk to
Grim
me.
Reaper.
Don't come talk to me. Go talk to the writers. That's what they're writing it. I'm telling you, Liliana is not going to make it. She's not going to make it out this season.
Now, let me say this. I do think Liliana eventually dies, but I don't think it's this season.
Yeah, she's not going to make it out because it's like I said last week. Every time Tommy gets a good thing going, there's disruption. And it's
right, but we're dealing with a different Tommy now. We're not dealing with overly emotional trigger on his finger, hair trigger on the finger on it. You get what I'm saying? Hair trigger Tommy. We're dealing with leadership Tommy. Okay, leadership Tommy is being strategic. He's not just shooting off emotion, right? He is doing leadership things. So maybe it'll be different. Although I don't know, I hesitate because of Liliana's diatribe later in the episode.
I agree, Xavier.
I 100% agree with Xavier. Liliana is my favorite character, you know, throughout the season.
Yeah.
So to get rid of her, but that's the thing though, it's power though, right? So it's Ghost, you know, at some point it's power. So it probably will happen. I think she'll get out of this season alive, but the next season, I don't know.
She ain't gonna make it the next season.
I agree, Xavier.
She ain't gonna make it. It's like I said last week. They do this where we get invested in the character and we like this character and we see future use for this character, but they don't. And that's the crazy part about it is, you know, they would have a better show if they kept that dynamic of Tommy and Liliana. But because they want to focus in more on these weak storylines, they got to get rid of Liliana. She's too distracting of a character. So in order for us to be invested in JP, in order for us to be invested with the whole Kate and JP and Tommy drama, D-Mac, they got to get rid of the focal point of Liliana and say, let's get her out of the way so we can focus in on these other stories, which I agree. Liliana's my favorite character as well. And I agree with your comment as well, Xavier. They would be a fool to get rid of her, but this is power. They don't do what makes sense. So
Tommy doesn't do this without Liliana. Tommy doesn't make sense without Liliana at this point. I mean, honestly.
He doesn't, because not only that, but he's also built up a trust in her.
Yeah.
He built up a trust in her that he's not going to build up with anyone else. Why take that away from him? But it's the same thing they did with him and Ghost. They had unwavering trust for each other, even when they were beefing with each other, but they took that away from us. So it's the same thing that's going to happen over here. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I want to be wrong, but let's just be clear.
I'm hoping that you're wrong too, Retro.
The writing doesn't.
I hope you're wrong too.
The writing doesn't support it. It supports
throughout the Power universe. She's one of my favorite characters. Like, even with, you know, we were talking Raising Kanan, we talking the original Power, we talking book 2. She's still one of my favorite. You know, out of all those, she's still one of my favorite characters.
Look what they did in regular Power. They did the same thing with Julio. I said that last week. Yep. They did the same thing with Julio to what? Bring Drake forward.
Yeah,
I hate
they did the same thing with Julio to bring Drake. He
had an amazing way out. Like he fought to the end. But I hate that they killed off Julio, man. That was my boy.
Julio,
and it's essentially like
Julio would have been perfect for Force.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like killing off Robin or killing off you know, I mean.
But speaking of Batman, they did that with Robin. How many Robins have we had? We have Nightwing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have 7 different Robins. So you know, you killed off the best sidekick to replace them with someone else to be a sidekick. So it's stupid.
Touché.
And right now, they're setting the tone for JP to be the new sidekick. Otherwise, JP has no use. for power. You could have killed him off. You could have ridden him off. If they don't bring him more into Tommy's drug organization, there's no use for JP.
Mm-hmm.
Because that storyline is just not going anywhere.
Right.
Well, they keep JP around.
That's who I can see personally maybe getting killed, or even D-Mac. You know what I'm saying? I can see one of them being taken out. But if they take out, if they take out Liliana, man, that sucks. I might stop.
Very angry. It's going to either be next week or the week after next. Whenever the last 2 episodes, between those last 2 episodes, we're going to be upset if they do something else. And then the fact that they focus in on, well, I'll wait till we get to that scene. So speaking of JP, in the next scene, he's tearing up the carpet now at the house. And of course, Tom is the only help he got to come help. I mean,
that was the scammiest Mickey Fricky scene I have ever, like,
he gets a text message or a phone call about behind past due bills. And I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll make a way out of no way. Tommy's like, do you want me to help? He's like, no. I do honestly believe that JP does want to earn his money. He just don't want somebody giving him money. Unless he's running the ultimate scam. If he's running the ultimate scam, then hats off to him. But
it's the writing. The writing.
It's the writing.
I'm not saying he's a scammer. I'm saying he's written like a scammer to me.
Yeah.
He's written like a scammer.
Yeah.
He does this whole dramatic thing. It's like, why are you looking at me? Can we not talk? Let's just get this carpet up. You know how hard pulling carpet up is? Like, what the duck are y'all doing? Why are we doing this? While he does this little temper tantrum about his bills. He needs money. And the club is going to close down. And by the way, also my dad needs a stent. Is that not the scammiest? It's up.
And for a character that's borderline destitute, you don't necessarily put him in a situation where he looks like he's struggling for money. He's dressed nice all the time. He's working in $200 sneakers.
And then he had the mochas on?
Yeah, he had the mochas on. He's working.
Yeah. Yes, he had the mochas on.
I can't get past the skull caps. I can't get past those perpetual skull caps.
He's not even dressed in work clothes. He's not dressed in work clothes. You sit here tearing down a house and you dressed in nice clothes and things like that. It just doesn't look believable. The scene doesn't look believable.
It doesn't. And then you just go to the refrigerator and get a couple of more beers. Like,
right.
What the heck is going on, sir?
It's a whole redundant scene. They keep repeating it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm over this. I'm over this house.
Right. We've seen the same scene 3 times or 4 times. It's just a different part of the house. I would much rather these scenes to have taken place at the bar, because then it keeps that in our mindset. It keeps that on our forefront, because you got all this time to fix up a house that you don't even know who it belongs to, yet your bar, club, whatever it is going into foreclosure. It doesn't make sense.
I think what little money and resources you do have, you're putting into a house that no one.
They don't even belong to you.
You don't even know who on your granny's paperwork.
Right.
But you're always down there. You got control over her house and making renovations to her house. You don't even know what's on the paperwork. You bring up the goddamn club, but then we don't never see you at the club. Are you going to be the cook now and the club is going away? Like, you going to let them foreclose on it? You going to try to save the club? Like, what is we doing? What is we doing?
Well, we need the club. We need the club more than anything. Right now. We don't need the house.
Talking about the club. Like, really, B said they not even in the club.
The club is his father's place, right?
It's his. Well, he took over the club because his father's sick, so he's running the club.
But then in last episode, when him and Tommy was on the Riverwalk, he did mention that they can launder money through the club, right?
So the son gonna take the club, D-Mac gonna take the club and launder the money. He gonna be the money man now.
Remember, that's what I thought they were going to do.
16 times he need to be. I mean, we need the club. We don't need the club to foreclose. Let this house foreclose. We could go away with. We could lose this set today and not miss anything in the story. We can lose this set. We don't even need this set anymore. The lady's dead now. We definitely don't need the set anymore. Okay, we need the club.
Get rid of the kitchen.
we need the club. We don't need new carpet at Granny's house. We don't need a new stove. Ain't nobody cooking on it anyway. We don't.
Is JP staying there?
Where's the daddy? Is he upstairs on the third floor?
Like, where is
what
JP
going
staying?
on?
Like, why is it so important for him to pick the house?
Jeez.
Like, what is he staying? Like, do he plan on moving there?
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Since we know that we know that they're building us up to Kate making her big return. Wouldn't it have been more impactful if the house had almost been like a time capsule that nothing had been done? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't it have been impactful that she shows up and we see her looking at this house through her eyes of, damn, you know, it ain't changed in 20 years or whatever. Like, you're gonna let her walk into a house that's half tore up, half renovated. Like, I mean, for the impact of the visual of the drama. You see what I'm saying?
But you're keeping a memory box. You got a memory box, right? And you give Tommy the memory box of all your memories of his memories on you know, USB stick. Like, yeah, take this,
right?
Take this. I mean, the to further the scam, you know, my scam perspective, me projecting that onto JP.
Could be Xavier.
He's the last one that sees Granny alive. JP's the last one to see Granny died on your watch, JP.
Yeah,
Granny died on your watch, dude.
After
You coming across scamming.
Right. Yeah, it does come across, especially as soon as you leave out the room, you go ask who's on her paperwork. And then right after that, she dies.
And okay, and here's another question, y'all. Call me crazy. She been in this place for how long? And you just decided to ask on the day she died who's in charge of her paperwork? Like, she been in this home for years, you said. You ain't never asked?
Yeah. I mean, we learn more from Walter about who Tommy may be descended from than we have from JP and his box full of memories.
And he seems to have all knowledge of the family. For him to be the bastard child that was left behind, he seems to know all the inner secrets of the family. He seems to know everything about what happened in the past. He knows everything about the whole situation with Miriam. Again, I was saying to Damon off camera, we was talking, and I was saying that, you know what, that was just a wasted character. They brought this lady on, they showed her 2 episodes, no speaking lines, and she's dead.
That was only the time they did that. They could have introduced Kate a different way, but they only did it.
We could have gotten that same dynamic from just looking at a picture of Granny.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
damn,
bro. Her in the home. We didn't need to know that her home bills were being paid for by some unknown person.
Yeah,
we don't know who the emergency contact.
That would have been a better storyline to pursue.
Yeah,
right.
But to open it and then close it without flipping through any of the chapters.
Waste of the extra.
Yeah, waste of an extra.
All I gotta say is this: when Kate finally show her ass up, they better give us a hell of a story with that, because other than that, there is absolutely no reason for this whole storyline. Like, think about it. If we had eliminated
to show up at this point, to be honest,
right? If we had eliminated the whole JP storyline, it would not have changed anything about this show. That's why in the beginning, if you go back to the first review we did, that's why I thought JP was going to be a player. I said, okay, JP is going to put Tommy on because JP is in the game. But this dude is square as shit. Like, what purpose for this whole storyline?
Maybe we have to look at it as total opposites. You know how you have a sibling and somebody can say your brother or sister is a night and day difference from you. So if you got two Tommies, then it's kind of like, damn, that's Tommy, but he black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I thought we were going to get.
Maybe they gave us two. Maybe they gave us two opposites, and now now that he knows what Tommy do, he's kind of infatuated with it. You know what I'm saying? And now it's just like, hey, look,
we gotta. I love your optimism, Juggernaut. I love your optimism. I love it. I feel like it keeps me balanced. But let me just say this: we got 2 weak characters. We got enough weak characters. Diamond's playing out weak. Okay, Vic's playing out weak. We don't need JP to come in as another weak soul. No, where are the girls? The girls run this ish when it comes to being totally
they do
balls to the walls. These dudes are coming across weak. They're projecting Tommy as the only strong male figure. We got weakness from everybody else,
I will say
including Begin Again.
Oh, that was Can we when we get to that part? Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Go ahead. My bad.
But that would work. That would have worked. That would have worked if JP didn't drop that little nugget about, well, I used to move weight, and Tommy was like, well, I don't care about you selling a little bit of weed. He was like, no, I didn't move weed. If they would have explored that a little bit more, then yes, bring JP into the fold. But right now, you're making him struggling. You got him, everything in his life is in foreclosure, past due.
That's the two, right?
JP never had validity for me ever since he went outside to chase two gun-toting thugs with a bat.
No money. We ain't seen this man on any type of boss level whatsoever.
No,
so I'm not gonna look at him as a boss.
No,
that man ain't pulled $5 out of his pocket since we've seen him. Tommy got to bring him food. Tommy got to bring him bill money. Listen, that man ain't got no money. He broke.
Preach, Pastor. Preach.
He said he didn't roll JP as destitute.
Yeah, he's destitute. He's out there with Paulie's son. He out there with Paulie's son right now.
Except he got somewhere to lay his head at night.
Well, he got somewhere to squat at night.
And it looks like they've forgotten his whole gay storyline.
Yeah.
But I think that's gonna be reintroduced.
But you know what? I'm actually glad. I'm honestly glad that they're not, because I feel like a lot of times they throw a gay character in to use as just a prop. So I'm glad that they're not making it an issue, because it's not an issue. If you gay, if you straight, if you whatever, it's just, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad that they didn't turn this into a whole, now he's got this scandalous gay lover.
Like they're doing with Drew over in book 2. Yeah.
Right. Like I'm almost glad that it's an afterthought. I mean, it's still stupid that they pulled it in, because the way they threw it in was stupid. But they've done, again, it goes in line with the whole JP storyline, which is stupid. So
plus Liliana's gonna take his virginity. So
Liliana gonna get him.
That's why I said that's gonna be reintroduced, because Liliana is on him.
Yeah, she owns him.
And for the record, he was flirting back.
Yeah, Liliana finna get that cherry. Okay.
Yeah, Liliana just gonna take
it. Instead of making him gay, they should have made him
bisexual. She's gonna
bisexuals, what they should have done.
Yeah,
right. Because he was flirting back with Liliana.
I'm sure there's a scene somewhere on the cutting room floor. They'll dig it up out of the pile, dust it off, where he's now bisexual, right? Yeah. But Liliana's gonna bust that meow cherry. He been roof, roof, roof. Me and Liliana said, "Have you tried kitty cat?"
I cannot with you
at all. So the next scene, we over at Claudia's place. Tommy and Claudia are having a conversation about how good the drug is doing and everything. And of course, she's got this brilliant idea. Well, let's go ahead and approach CBI. And he was like, "Nah, I don't want to fuck with CBI. You know, let them stay on the outskirts of this. We got a good thing going. Let's build this up. You still want to bring more people in. You still want to bring more people in, and you're not prepared to deal with CBI right now." And she's starting to whine a little bit about, for me to give you my drug, you know, you seem to have more control over this situation than I do. Well, you should let him have the control, because you don't know what you're doing. And so finally, her and Tommy come to an agreement that she gonna do the clubs with the girls, he gonna do the streets, and that's how it should be.
In charge of the girls.
You are in charge of the girls.
No, Claudia is in charge of
the girls.
Claudia needed busy work.
She needed
some busy work. Claudia said, "What you got? I need a corner office. I need a title. I need some subordinates.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna stay in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble." And Tommy's like, "Okay, I tell you what, woo woo woo. You be in charge of the club, right? Keep busy with the club. You got subordinates. It's your corner office. It gives you a title. You're head of the club, right? This is all you need to worry about." Meanwhile, he's doing distro. He's running the streets. He's getting another cook. She's not in any of that. He brings her a bag of money. We don't get any feedback from. They're eliminating really Claudia out of the picture slowly but surely, because D-Mac is going to be the numbers guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Liliana knows how to cook, or if they keep the doctor around, they got the cook already on lock. Bringing JP in to help cook they're slowly but surely eliminating Claudia.
She initially started out being pulling all those pieces together to pull her own crew together, and she's completely acquiesced to Tommy at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and they're doing it in such an innocuous way where that she could just fade away and we not miss her at all. She can just dissolve into a glass of water and we'll never see her again.
And it's a missed opportunity. Just like with Liliana, it's a missed opportunity. And I would say Gloria was a missed opportunity too. I'll go back to this was a great opportunity for the Powerverse to give us some for real female foes. You know what I'm saying? Hitters. Like that's how they showed Claudia in the beginning, and now she's just turned into this sycophant, with a penchant for closing her eyes and pulling a trigger. You know what I'm saying? But still, I don't know. It was just a missed opportunity for her to be put in this real brutal way. I think that could have been,
especially after how they initially built her up. Especially after how they initially built her character. The way they developed her character, she was a boss. She was taking her place in the family's organization.
Right.
And now they kind of got her just, trading on the sidelines a little bit.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you said, Miss Honey. She needs a title, she needs entitlement, she needs a position, and she needs a role in order for her to stay out of trouble.
What I kind of see is that with Claudia is like you didn't want you're trying to make yourself look fit to run the organization when it comes to your dad, but all the while your organization, Tommy, has taken over and given you the back seat. Now you're saying, hey, look, we supposed to be partners. I want to be a part of this. I kind of feel that, and I could be wrong, I kind of feel that at some point Claudia's gonna end up taking over for her father.
But I think part of the problem is Claudia grew up in the as her father being this kingpin. She saw the business from the princess in the tower vantage point. She didn't see the day-to-day nitty-gritty. And yes, they showed us this boss in the beginning because she was a boss and she still is. But now that she's getting into the minutia of the day-to-day, she wasn't ready for that. She wasn't, you know what I'm saying? And that's the part that she didn't get. It's like you grow up in a rich family and you're like, man, my dad owns 20, businesses. And then you want to own a business, but you don't understand. You don't understand payroll tax. You don't understand, making sure that you're following the protocol and HR rules and what the law says about overtime. Like all of that is like and then you get in trouble. You're getting sued, and you're like, oh shit, wait a minute, because my dad, he's never been sued, and he runs 20 businesses. But your dad, because he never wanted you to do it, he didn't teach you. So all you saw was the glamorous side. And now, like when she had to kill old boy, and Tommy was like, yo, this is part of the game.
Yeah.
It's like she's learning. And even with some of the moves she's making, once Tommy explains to her, listen, that's not a good idea because A plus B doesn't equal C, and it's going to make us fuck up on D. And it's like, oh, well, I want to do it this way. And he's explaining it to her. And it's like, she's making shit so simplistic. It's like when she went behind his back in this episode, and then she got her ass handed to her. And now it's like, what do you do? But Tommy told you not to do it. You did it anyway.
Facts.
Yeah, but she's getting the same thing she's getting from her dad. Shut up and look pretty. That's really what he's telling her when he said run the clubs, okay?
But in the beginning, Tommy was explaining it to her. He was explaining the play to her. She just didn't like it or didn't agree with it. Tommy was explaining it to her, like, this is why we're going to do it like this, because this is the way it has to happen, and we need to make sure that this is going on. Like, even when he was, like, last week when he had to explain to her about the drug and about the designer piece, she was like, well, that's what makes it special, and that's why we want, and he was like, yeah, but that's not sustainable.
But this is what I was saying about busy work, though. This is why I feel like he gave her busy work to satiate her. But it's still essentially the same thing. Look pretty, shut up and look pretty, just run the clubs, right? And I just feel like, to me, Claude becomes a liability at this point. Because you moving funny behind the scenes. It's like having a girlfriend. You a drug dealer having a girlfriend that talk too much.
Twice you done this.
Yeah. Twice.
Right, and that's the
Twice.
thing. I think at the end of the day, though, I think part of it goes back to Tommy doesn't fully respect her because Tommy doesn't feel like she came up in the trenches. Like Tommy has respect for Liliana because Tommy knows that Liliana has paid her dues. You know what I'm saying? So there's a part of Tommy, and this is my opinion, there's a part of Tommy that, going back to what you said, Miss Honey, that's going to always sort of put her off to the side a little bit because she hasn't, in his mind, earned her stripes. Now, if she get down and they go side by side in a couple of battles, yeah, because that's how Tommy rolls. Because Liliana had to earn it. So yeah, if they go toe to toe in a couple of battles, yeah. But right now, it's almost like you just a spoiled rich girl want to play in the game, and at any point you can get out and go back to your little spoiled life.
And this is the drug game. This is the drug game. There ain't no glamorous life in the drug game. So you walk around here with these designer furs on and clothes and things like that on.
In that dark arts house.
Yes. And you can't
your G-Wagon.
Yeah, you can't ride around in a G-Wagon in the drug game. I mean,
he's always walking around that candlelit house, like all them steps. I was like, girl,
with like 6-inch heels on.
I agree with what pulls my teeth, and with Xavier, I think we could, out of JP, we could have had a really good maniacal gay character like we did with Lobos. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I would have found that JP very interesting.
I could agree with that.
Right. Exactly what they're trying to do with Drew over in book 2, where Lorenzo wants to give Drew.
They can't pull it off though. They can't pull it off. They still have not pulled that off because Drew was giving me soft serve like from Gate. I'm sorry.
Yep. So
because they use the wrong people, But go ahead.
Yeah, they're using the wrong people, or better, they're putting the storyline, the meat of the storyline, on the wrong characters.
Right.
They should reevaluate their character arcs.
Yeah, it's misdirected.
And say this is better suited with this character, because not only are we getting a lot of fan service from this character's role seems to fit more in with what the story that we're trying to tell, versus picking a character on the list and say, I'm going to make you the one. And I think that's what they're doing with this.
Really quickly before we push forward, I want to say this about Claudia, and she listen, 2 infractions. She needs to get a pinky toe broken. I mean, she can get a Liliana scar. Like, I don't know what he got to do.
She almost had it. Remember, they gave it to us. They didn't give it to us the way we wanted to see it, but they gave it to her when her homeboy ran up on her and she had to kill him because he punched her.
I think when Tommy
Reggie, you talking about Reggie?
Reggie, yes.
I'm talking about to cobble her. This the drug game. She's gonna have to be clipped a bit, because if you don't, he can never ever trust her.
When Tommy finds out that she went behind his back and went to Diamond, because he told her point blank, Diamond's my man.
Right.
He told her that. But this is my opinion, when she finds out that he went behind her back, she went behind his back and tried to bring Diamond in after he specifically said, I don't want to get him in no bullshit. Right. I think it's going to be a problem. I think
he has to, in order for his character to stay strong, he's going to have to get
part of this designer drug. Diamond's going to feel some kind of way about that, because Diamond went to Tommy and asked him point blank, what do you know about this drug? And Tommy kind of brushed it off on him. So you're right, Crystal. You are absolutely right. That's exactly, he's going to feel some kind of way about that, because that's going to create tension between them, because he specifically told her, don't take this to Diamond, don't take this to CBI. And she did the opposite.
I think what the writers are doing, they're positioning Claudia and Vic alliance to go against Tommy. There's no way Tommy's going to be able to keep Claudia in his alliance because he can't control her. So you become my enemy. Vic is going to become his enemy for the obvious reasons in this episode. But yeah, that's what I see they're doing. And I think that he's going to have to align himself with Diamond.
We're feeling about Claudia right now that she's disposable, because she is. She's disposable. Tommy's got the recipe. He's got the resources. He's got everyone on his side now that's producing the drug. You're not useful anymore.
Yeah, but she's a different kind of disposable. Maybe she won't die, but she's definitely going to become an enemy of his camp for sure.
I agree with what pulls my teeth. I wish Liliana, that conversation she had with the chemist, that's the conversation she needed to have with Claudia.
Yep.
I got a feeling her and Claudia.
And I thought that they were getting ready to have that last week before the girls showed up. I thought that's the conversation they were getting ready to have this week. You're right.
Especially given the fact she showed that hole in her shoulder from that 762. Yes, hole, boy.
It was impactful, but I agree with what pulls my teeth too, Crystal. Yeah, it was misdirected. It would have been better served with Claudia, and I feel like we're gonna see a Claudia Liliana mud fight before it's all said and done.
What was the purpose of her having that conversation with the doctor? I mean, that girl ain't no threat. You know,
I think it was to project what she was feeling about. She's never depended on luck. Luck was never on her side. You know, she's always the one that catches a stray bullet or burn or knife to the face. Like, I think that's what she was trying to, you know, like I'm not just a rider, you know what I'm saying? I'm a G, like I'm a soldier, I'm a trooper. Like I've taken bullets and it has nothing to do with luck. It has to do with my own fortitude and tenacity. And anytime you lean on luck, you gonna be SOL.
Correct.
But I also think part of it too was I think she started seeing something in the doctor's eyes, like that glamorous, oh, this is fun. I'm having fun. But you know, last week when she, you know, she was so proud of herself and she hit it. I think that might have been Liliana's like scared straight moment. Because remember, Liliana is trying to get her out of there. Liliana is trying to convince Tommy to let her go. So I think she's trying to keep her like, listen, you stay on that side. You don't want to come over to the dark side. It ain't pretty. I feel like that's probably what that was. That was a whole scare.
Because they still need her as a cook. She can't cook. Tommy said he need her out there in the streets. Move away.
But Liliana is trying to get her out. Remember, Liliana said, listen, I know it. We can let her go. Remember, she said that. So she's trying to get her, because remember, she was her advocate last week to let her go out and go to her date and shit. Like, she's trying to get her out of there.
So
I don't have no faith that that's going to happen, but...
So
I don't think, you know what you guys saying. I mean, I can see it, but I can't. I don't think Vic and Tommy gonna end up enemies. When we get to that scene, I'll break it down, but I don't think they're gonna end up enemies.
Oh, that's exciting.
Okay, so the next thing is Jannard and Diamond. They're at the shop and they're pretty much talking about CVI. And this is the part that I have been looking for. This is the Jannard that I have been looking for since we found out that he was running a coup behind his brother's back. So, you know, I'm just thankful for whatever little spot I can get in CVI. And if I was, Diamond asked him the question, if you were running things again, what would you be doing differently right now? Well, I'll get it on his designer job, but
hey, CG, the funny thing with that is, how the hell you go from wanting to be top dog alpha male to getting table scraps?
Misdirection. I think that's the recurring theme for this episode.
Hey, but did you see Diamond had the OVO 10s on?
He did. So since we talked about the OVO 10, is that our sneaker of the day segment now? Is that what we're at?
I got sneakers today, y'all. I got sneakers.
Let's see what y'all got.
I don't have on my slippers. Well, I still have on my slippers. Y'all want me to get my sneakers that I'm wearing today? What you got on, Marvin?
All right.
Let me get my sneaker. And I blame these.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah.
Shades of blue.
And these are all Juggernaut's fault that I own these sneakers.
Go get a blue shoe.
I got one right next to you.
Oh wow!
I blame Juggernaut for these.
You two are evil. I don't have those.
You do have them.
I like that.
I don't have the fours that CG and Jack got.
Oh, you talking about those? Oh, okay. I'm saying you got the shoes I got. You got these.
I'm giving lipstick. You guys are welcome to give laces.
Oh, I got my lipstick too.
I like that, Miss Honey. That was a good little tie-in for our new thing. You give me a lipstick, we give you laces. Okay, I got you. But yeah, I thought that was very.
What's the lipstick today, Miss Honey?
Oh, it's a combination, honey. This is the
See what you got.
Milani Sticks and Spells.
Okay.
This is 110.
Let me see.
110.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful
I love
dark
that.
purple hue. Yeah, it's
Oh, I
super
love
great.
that. That's 110.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
I
is
love that.
110 Sticks and Spells.
Oh yeah.
It was from their Halloween
They
collection.
speaking Spanish right now.
Okay.
It's from the
Right,
Halloween
right.
collection.
So what,
And
and
just
it's mixed with what? What's it mixed with?
and then it's mixed with this super cheap lip gloss from the beauty supply store. You know, they give you those.
Listen, ain't nothing wrong with the beauty supply stuff.
And it's
Yeah.
just a super pale pink, and I just put it.
Don't know where they're
I
at.
just put it on that that inner.
Give it a little, yeah. Well, I'm still working with Mama Lonnie. I'm
It's
still working with
beautiful.
Mama Lonnie.
Yeah,
140.
yeah. I
Yeah.
love that 140. It's
I
gorgeous.
love it too. I actually
Mhm.
ordered a couple of more colors, so when they come next week, I'll give y'all something different.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
It is. I love it.
I love the
it.
versatility. I've got to get me a couple of shoes, but
Yeah.
you know, they won't be as fabulous
It makes
as
my
you
lips
guys.
nice and kissable. Look. Mwah.
Yeah. I will say my favorite shoe of all three of you guys today has to be JOJ. I love that honey and black together, that honey black white color scheme you just gave us, JOJ. I loved it.
Okay, back to the show.
The Dunkin' Donuts, aren't they?
He's my MVP today.
Okay,
See,
JOJ with the MVP.
Retro, I'm sorry, Retro, but we're giving you accolades two episodes in a row now. We gotta just spread it out amongst the other guys. Sorry.
I agree.
He said, I agree. Them was
But-
the dunk from aboves, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so.
So back to Jannard. So they should have given us this scene when they gave us that scene with him and Elijah, where he was kind of plotting and scheming behind his back. But then we've seen him just kind of just go forth with his schemes and with his plans. But now in the face of his brother, I don't know, maybe he was a little bit nervous about that straight razor being on his face. You know, he cowers down and he becomes, oh, I just want a little piece of the pie and I'm happy.
But I think that was an act. Y'all don't think that was an act? He
It was.
Oh yeah, he's
It
being
was.
sarcastic.
Hey, like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Retro's being sarcastic. He know.
Okay,
It
'cause
was
I'm
that-
like, wait a minute.
Well, he's talking about Jannard being sarcastic. I thought it was a good scene, but I mean, but it definitely points towards the fact that Diamond is doing everything he can really to try to kind of keep them together and try to keep this thing afloat, you know, safely as possible. Whereas Jannard in this episode is openly plotting against his brothers.
Yeah.
He's essentially sicking the dog on all his enemies with the Indiana Connect, and that includes Diamond.
And the thing
Yep.
about it is, though, it's a situation where Diamond's content with where they're at right now. They got the Serbian pipeline, they got the drugs, they ain't have to pay for the drugs. They're moving weight, they're making money. It's all good right now. Why rock the boat? Whereas Jannard, he's not content with that. I want more, and because everyone else has got a cut of this new drug and we don't, we're being left behind. It's kind of like what Claudia and Vic and everybody's been trying to get Walter to see, that if we don't change with the times, we're going to get left behind. You're worried about Coke right now. You're trying to push Coke, and there's a new drug out here that's taking over, and that's selling for way more than Coke is. We need to get in on that. So from a business sense, I can understand Jannard's plight. However, the way he wants to go about it and usurp his brother, I can't feel that.
I'm more impressed that he was cutting somebody hair in that chair.
It would really, I mean, it was just playing around. Well,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
have you ever gone and just got a little foam just right here in this general area? No.
Yeah. I'm
He
more impressed.
ain't cut no hair and gave nobody no razor line. It's just the
No,
first
Yeah,
episode.
this is the first one. Yeah, this is the first episode. So your only customer, your first
And he
customer
was
is
in
your brother.
jail. And he was in jail when he did that.
Hey,
Right.
but I ain't
Well,
gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That Damascus straight razor was so dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that razor
Yeah,
was
definitely.
nice.
If y'all don't
What?
know what Damascus is, it's actually a mixture of metal when it's pressed and when it's forged together that creates those lines. That was so dope. I saw that, I was like, damn, that's a Damascus straight razor. I want.
Wow. Wow.
They use a series of different metals.
All right, Juggernaut, you just became slightly hot. I was trying to keep you in the pocket because you got wife and kids and stuff, but I see you. Come on. Knowledge. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so let me just say this about Jannard real quick. I don't like the inconsistency in his character. It bothers me. And I think because it puts me on this roller coaster emotionally towards him. Okay, so maybe I'm the drama, but he kind of shows a cleverness when he does this thing with Diamond. At the same time, this whole 20 bands for anybody that can get me information on who's moving this drug, and you have these two individuals come and tell you it's the Hasidics / pilgrims. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just bugged me. And then what he does with that information is so low street level.
It's so stupid. It was so. You had. What if he had picked that bag up and it was a damn sandwich?
And that's what I thought about too.
Like he just rolled it up on dude. Like
this man coming down the alley with a white paper bag, and you like, give me the pack.
If you know where to find the Hasidics, you could have already. You don't have people sit on the issue, stake them out. You don't have them split up. You just put 20 bands on the street for anybody can bring you any information, and you literally give these two dudes 10 grand each to tell you that you buy it completely, and then run down on the Hasidics yourself. After shooting the man brutally in broad daylight in an alley, you look up
for the camera after the fact.
And then pull the hood over your head at broad daylight. Like at that same time, he doesn't seem that smart.
It goes back to my rant from last week. This guy is an idiot. He does nothing with this information. He's an idiot. He does absolutely nothing with this information. You take this information and, like you said, you don't go sit on it. Like you don't go figure out, okay, let me figure out where they're getting their stuff from, and I can go straight to the supplier, anything like that. You go and get this, you go and you knock off the distro for possibly getting a damn ham sandwich or whatever the hell that possibly could have been in that bag. You idiot. What are you doing? Like, Jannard,
what was the Hasidic guy reaching for? What was the Hasidic guy reaching for? Like a butter knife?
Like, he's the dumbest character. He had a weapon. And he's just dumb. He don't think.
Xavier, I agree. I definitely agree. He has book smarts, but he don't have any common sense.
No common sense whatsoever.
I'm about to say they haven't even shown me he got a whole lot of book smarts. Yeah. The fact that you know a Hasidic Jew from a pilgrim doesn't make me think that you that damn book smart either.
But you know what? I blame the writers for this, and I really don't like how they're writing CBI out to be these dullards, these weaklings, these feckless individuals. I don't think that's right. And I said it before, the way they're writing the POCs in this episode, as opposed to the Hasidic Jews, okay, as opposed to the Flynn's, they're writing them in this way where they just seem like the idiots, village idiots of the whole drug game. If you know people from New York and Chicago and places like that, they know people in their community. All the other ethnics in their community, they know them. They eat their food, they eat in their restaurants, or they either don't deal with them except for certain things, but they have knowledge of these individuals. And for them to play CBI out in this way, like they're just idiots, it bugs me. It bothers me.
That's why I think it bothers me the most about Jannard.
It was a contradiction from the very beginning. You have kept this organization not only running for the last 15 years, but thriving. Like you told him, yeah, man, I did this, and that's why you got that fly condo, and I got this, I bought you the barbershop, and I'm riding around in the Lambo. Like you are showing us that you've been so successful, but then on the flip side, the very next scene, we see you in this bungled ass drug deal with the whatever the Yardies, and if it hadn't been for Tommy, you'd have been dead. Like it doesn't make sense, and it hasn't from the beginning.
It has
not connected from the beginning. And I'm with. I think it was Retro that said this. And this is just me as a writer right now. When Diamond gets out of jail, The first stop, of course, is to take him to his spot, let him get set up, give him a minute. The next thing we should have seen, with as far as Diamond is concerned, we should have seen a meeting of the CBI, where he's being reintroduced. Because you got the old heads who were around before, but you got a lot of young dudes who don't know who he is. He's just a legend. He's if he's going to be the leader now, there should have been some sort of, y'all know what I'm saying by a meeting. I don't mean like a real, like, you know, but like we all get together at the, like they got at the barbershop, at a bar, something where they're welcoming him home. But they didn't have no something. And so now we know that this is truly where the power structure is. And so when now it became a conflict, we see these people having to decide. Right now, all we've seen is a bunch of 15-year-olds that don't know the difference between a pilgrim and a damn Hasidic Jew. Like, where's your muscle? Where's your hierarchy? There's nothing. We've seen nothing. Yeah.
There is none. Man, you got a great point. They're disorganized, glorified crew, and I'm not even sure if they even glorified at this point.
Xavier's right. I mean, he talks about it there, about them, you know, they're just a gang, whereas the Flynn's and the Hasidics are a syndicate.
Yep.
So
I get that, but even as a gang, there's a hierarchy, there's an organ, especially if he's been running.
They weren't written that way, though. That's my thing.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
You got a black person that's over this show, black writers. Why are we writing our people in this weak, feckless way? Here's an opportunity to write them. You know, if they weren't so busy trying to make everybody cross paths. If they had spent this first season giving us some real CBI dynamics, some real Flynn dynamics within the organization, let's just see how it's running, how it goes, that type of thing. And then showing Tommy moving in and out of that would have been good. Or showing Tommy building his own empire and then slowly feeding these people into it. That would have been a great season. I still think the killer drug women would have been better, but still. But we don't know. It's just like CBI is this afterthought, but we're supposed to fear them. We're supposed to think they carry some weight. Even the writers don't think they really carry weight.
So the next thing we have is Bennigan coming out of the police department.
And he got his ass extorted.
This was stupid. This was so stupid on so many levels.
Another character that came out barking, but turns out he's a toothless wonder.
First off, why didn't he just say? Why he just say, I don't know what you're talking about? Like, he like, oh yeah, you know, he just let the guy run all over his ass.
Yeah. First of all, this dude showed absolutely no proof, no anything to prove what information he had, where he got the information. I'm not admitting the shit. He talking about something. Well, before you even do that, let's just cut to the chase.
I mean, you know I got my sister. Wait a minute.
Right. Like, it's no way. I'm not admitting shit. You're going to have to show me a videotape. You're going to have to show me what you have on me before I agree to anything. And then even if you show me a videotape where you show me exchanging money, the next thing I'm doing, I'm calling Vic. And I'm like, we got a problem. I'm going to let them handle it. Vic, we got a problem. Right. Oh boy, you know, yada yada yada. He saw, he trying to extort me, which ain't no way in hell. I'm not eating that. I'm letting them know we got a problem, because if I go down, we all fucking going down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Nino Brown this bitch. If I go down, we all going down.
Yeah.
So I'm calling Vic, and I'm like, you need to handle it. You need to, in the words, you need to turn his water off, because we're not paying him shit. You need to turn his water off.
Basically. I was completely insulted at how they played Bennigan's character out. I was like,
from the beginning, he has gotten punked by everybody. He'd have been punked by Diamond. He'd have been punked by Vic. He has been punked by by Claude. This dude has been punked by every single character that he has come into contact with. Yeah. What is he here for? Right. He has served another character that has served no purpose.
Yeah. Still, somehow, he comes across a little bit more ballsy than Vic. Everybody does. He takes it. Should have snuffed the guy out. He should have found a way to get rid of his partner, like on some training day type thing. But instead, he goes and forwards the debt onto Vic. And Vic was like, "Oh yeah, no problem. Let me write you a check." You say extortion. He just writes a check. I got you. I'll give you triple. You sure you don't want triple?
Crazy.
Tells the guy how much money he's getting. I'm only getting 100,000, and I was like, what? Why are we writing this character this way? It just why introduce him in order to cut his gonads off as a character
Right.
and basically make him fodder. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Retro.
I could have done without the character myself. I mean, I know that we have to have a dirty cop in every version of Power. And you know, we get it at this point. You know, in the Power universe, there's always going to be a dirty cop, but we don't necessarily always have to see it on screen. You know, their character doesn't always have to be developed. They can be one of those characters that spoke about and not seen. You know, especially with this one, he could have very easily been spoke about and not seen. You know, I got a guy on the inside. That's all that needed to be said, and that was that. But to be extorted,
or bring him when we need to see him, because like you said, we don't need to meet everybody in the first episode. Like you can gradually bring people on, like until we like you said, we accept the fact that there's gonna always be an inside man. That's great. When we need the inside man, show us who he is
and what he's doing for the organization.
Exactly.
Because
I mean, I personally hate to keep rooting for brutality, but the show is called Force. The show is called Force. Name one character that exemplifies that title. Name one. Force.
Got me.
Right. We can't even get a ruthless psycho dirty cop. Huh? We can't get one in a drug dealer. That's fine. All our drug dealers drink unicorn pee and poop gumdrops. I don't care. That's fine. But we can't get a psycho cop.
Exactly.
I agree with both my opinion. It said too many enemies too early for the first season.
I agree.
I completely agree.
It's like they were just throwing stuff at the wall to see what stick.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to what me and CG had talked about before. It's like when we had the first Power, you know, we had time to learn all these different, you know, villains, you know, and get the backstory of it, you know, with the Lobos and the Jimenez and, you know, and all this. And this one, it just seemed like we're going to throw this person in here. We're going to throw that person in here. Let's rush this season and get this out. And of course, we as followers of the Power universe, we fall in line with that, you know, and do our reviews on it. But that's my biggest hang up, you know, with this. It's just too much stuff going on at one time. And, you know, despite the fact that Gennard is dumb and they talking about he's supposed to be Ivy League and stuff like that, and he should be more of a leader, even if he's not the forefront of CBI, he should have the mindset to move pieces the way it need to be moved. But that's my biggest issue with this is everything just seemed rushed. Too much.
And why push that? Why push that if you had nothing to back that point up? Why push that? It's like peeing in our iced tea. I mean, it just you're forcing us to drink just this residual garbage. I can't.
Listen, Gennard going to Ivy League is the equivalent of me going to the NBA. I may have wanted it to happen. I may love basketball. I may know how to play basketball. But the chances that I'm going to the NBA are slim to none.
Slim to none.
Okay. So I feel the same way about Gennard. Like, you might have wanted to go to Ivy League, but you have shown me absolutely nothing that convinced me that was ever a legitimate option for you, sir.
And so the thing about it is that just really perplexes me with the Bennigan character is, what does he do for the 100K? You know, at least with Ramirez in book 2, we saw what he did. He got them out of jams. You know, he served his purpose. We in Power, we saw what the dirty lawyer was doing for Lobos, Sandoval. We saw what Sandoval did for the organization. You know, we don't in Raising Kanan is a different type of bad cop that we have, because he's not necessarily a bad cop. He just colors outside the line. He moves between the different drug crews to keep the balance of power. So we kind of see what he does to support whoever is kind of like
he has a purpose.
He serves a purpose. This character right here serves no purpose. So, you know,
Well,
other
he
than
serves
that-
no purpose because the people to which he would serve, he would be beneficial. They don't have ish going on, you guys. The Flynn's don't have anything going on. They have nothing going on. How can he facilitate in any way when there's nothing to facilitate?
Well, at the very least, we should see him giving them inside information on his Fed investigation. At the very least.
Yeah, but we never
him-
see Walter meeting with anyone other than Paulie, right? Even
We
though
should
he's got these people that are he's answering to in Ireland or wherever. We never see anything from the Flynn's. Vic, it doesn't run a crew. He only had poor Simon.
That's a good question. Authentically Young. I'm gonna say this, and I'll let the guys jump in. But I'm gonna say this from where I sit, and I love sports. Generally speaking, the Ivy League schools, if it's an athletic ability, those aren't generally the schools that you're looking to go to if you're trying to get to the next level.
Nope.
They're not known. I mean, we've had some flukes, and there are some teams that have. There are some schools that have good teams that are Ivy League. But if you're an athlete and you're trying to get recruited because you're trying to get the looks from the next level, whether it's Major League Baseball, whether it's the NBA or the NFL, Ivy League is generally what you're talking
You're
about.
not doing the Ivy League school for that.
Yeah, you're not looking at Ivy League.
No.
That, generally speaking,
No.
y'all, am I wrong? I mean,
You won't.
No, you're gonna go to a major institution because what you look for when you get
Right,
ready to do
exactly.
it on the athletic
You look
level
for
is you look for the
exposure.
exposure. So if
Right,
you're not getting
right.
that, you know, the Ivy Leagues don't get that type of exposure when it comes down to, you know, you going against a Big 10 or a Pac-12 or
yeah,
an ACC
yeah. You looking
team.
at that's what you're looking at. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you
So
looking at
it's
Ivy
gonna be
League,
it's
as far as
Ivy
like
League will be
Ivy
all
League
this.
sports, the only thing if you gonna go there, it'll likely happen off a fluke with somebody probably showing your footage on social media and it went viral.
like
Then
Zeke,
that's what
like
then
Zeke's
that's when
character.
somebody would be like, oh, okay, let's go check this guy out. But if you going for athletics, yeah, you're not going Ivy League for sure.
And even if that is the case, we still haven't seen the athletic ability. We haven't seen it spoken about. But I mean, at this point, we don't see what his strong suits are. You know, his strong suit was that he's so intelligent. They're not selling him that he had this opportunity based off of his athletic ability. They're more so selling it to us that he had this opportunity based off of his intelligence. And I guess that's why we are gauging that we don't see where this character is an intelligent character, and we damn sure don't see where he has the athletic ability because we said the same thing about Zeke in book 2. And we knew that Zeke did not have the intelligence, but we saw where he had the athletic ability. Finally, they showed us, you know, him shooting around. They showed him at a game or two. Or
Well,
whatever.
I mean, they showed
that perception that he's in the Ivy League school because of his athletic ability and not intelligence.
They showed Jannard on the diamond fucking imitating Jenga Lang. That's about it.
right.
That's
And I mean, and
about
that's what I
all
was gonna say. Not to get too technical. And again, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but even out of the 3 major sports here in the country, Major League Baseball is even less of a likelihood because they got a whole farm system. A lot of the top prospects, they don't even think about college. A lot of them get recruited straight out of high school. I mean, am I wrong?
That is 100% right.
Yeah.
They
So
do
I
have
mean,
a farm
again,
system, and they do get
talking about
recruited.
baseball, they ain't think about Ivy League if he's trying to play Major League Baseball at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
You see why it's a distraction just
But it goes
that
back to
leads
writing.
to this rabbit hole, this minutia, and now see, look how much time we spent on just trying to, you know what I'm saying? It lends nothing.
Understand the characters.
Yeah,
Too much
it lends
unnecessary
nothing.
information.
It lends nothing. The conversation that Tommy had with Claudia about why he didn't want to bring Jannard and Diamond in was brilliant. It was a really great Tommy moment, another leadership moment, right? It gave us more information about the Diamond Jannard setup than they do with the actual characters.
Okay, so going back to that question, in the Power universe, what's considered Ivy League?
So,
Okay, so if you go back to OG Power, and we talked about Angela Valdez, and we talked about Ghost, and we talked about Tariq going to Choke. Okay, we saw where they had even with Tasha and her accounting abilities, even though she didn't go to
Right.
college, even though she didn't finish college and she wasn't at an Ivy League school, we heard that mentioned and we saw that potential with those characters with the way they move. Angela was smart as hell. She outsmarted everyone in the U.S. Attorney's office. Ghost, he outsmarted everyone that was a competitor or in competition with him. So we saw where they had a collegiate side to them that
Right, Stansfield.
we could have seen them in the world of politics. We could have seen them in the world of Ivy League high society life. This series right here, Ivy League should never been mentioned at all.
It plays no role.
It plays no.
They could have just, because if the storyline is supposed to be that Jannard is resentful that he was forced into the drug trade because he had other goals, just leave it at that. Just leave it at. But they haven't even fully developed that. That's all over the place. It's just too. It's
Everything
too
that
much.
They could have just had it. They could have just had it in the basis where he could have just said, "Hey, he was resentful because I had dreams of going to college and playing baseball." That would have solved the whole thing.
That's it.
But
I just want to be a regular ass kid doing regular ass kid shit.
I just want to be
and then give us some actual smart moves. Because the thing about what you were saying about Angela and the other characters, they had storyline that supported the idea of them being intelligent and savvy.
Exactly.
The storyline that they're giving us and the storyline that they're writing to support it, they don't mix. They don't come together. They don't mesh.
Well, it's like I said in earlier reviews. If we would have seen that when Jannard picked up Diamond and brought him back into the life, kind of what Crystal was saying earlier, they had other businesses up and going besides a barbershop. You know, it's just like with Ghost. We saw Ghost's business acumen when he was running the club. If we would have seen Jannard running other businesses and then you could have used that narrative that he's smart, he's intelligent, he had opportunity. But what have you done with this drug money other than wear designer clothes and ride around in a Lamborghini? You know, that's all we see him. We don't see him, you know, navigating the business world. We don't see that other side to him that would cross over to Ivy League. At this point, and there's nothing wrong with community college, but at this point, I don't even think community college is suited for Jannard.
You know what?
He's more like tech school. You know?
Right. I agree with what Miss Honey said in the past few minutes a little bit ago. This whole POC thing and the whole thing of them being gang members is just like, look, all right, we can say his dream was college and athletes and all athleticism and everything like that. But the perception is gang member, when we get money, we're gonna get these designer clothes, we're gonna get this Lamborghini. Just as you said, we're gonna hang out in this one specific spot that's supposed to be a barbershop, but we do absolutely nothing there. We just hanging out there.
Non-functional business.
Yeah, so I agree that I agree with
and
that.
I'm aligning myself, at least with Ghost and Angela and everyone else. They align themselves with power players. Ghost with Simon Stern. You know, so look who Jannard is aligning himself with. 16-year-olds. He's not even aligning himself with least with Tariq. He's aligning himself with politicians, Rashad Tate,
lawyers.
You know, you're moving with people that have influence.
Yeah.
You're not moving with affluent people.
Yeah. But you know what? With Tariq, though, he was taught that, though. You know, he was taught that. He was taught how to move. When you look at CBI, you can't. You know, I don't really agree with it, but at the same time, you can't say they're a street gang and they're just as much even. They're just as much even with these other crime organizations like the Flynn family.
Yeah, they're written to be lower level. They're written as lower level.
Is the street gang. That's all they are.
Ineffective and not smart. They're written as if they're weak. The Diamond's character, I mean, we're complaining about Jannard a lot more. Like, we're spending a lot more time on Jannard. But last week we was doing Diamond, remember? Or I was anyway. I said where Diamond doesn't really hold any weight to me. He really just seems like a Mr. Rogers.
This episode, He redeemed himself of
Yeah, he
that
did.
scrutiny last episode of this episode. He redeemed himself from that. So we see Claudia has been summoned to come down to the Flynn house. That house is everything. That house is
George.
everything.
That house is
Mhm.
old.
So
Yo.
many places to hide a body.
And you see the armed guards on the grounds. You see the armed guards in the background on the ground.
Come
And
on,
of course,
Steve.
Walter starts questioning Claudia as to what you been doing? Where you been? Them two men I put on you, they ain't came back home yet. You're into something. I don't know what you're into, but when I find out, I'm going to step on it. And I'm going to just destroy your hopes. Like, you know, he seems to be very resilient to the fact that his daughter is
It's
trying
not
to be a
her
boss of
part.
her own, but he doesn't want her to be that. He wants her to be
Right.
just step and fetch.
Right, she's not playing the position that he has. He has her expectations set for.
And she pretty much doesn't back down to her father and tells her father that, listen, bring it, come with it.
This was a particularly brutal scene for Walter, and I could definitely see Claudia
It is a haunted
killing him
mansion.
in this.
That's what I said. I think she gonna kill him. I don't think it's
Yeah.
gonna be Vic.
Yeah, I mean,
Where's the respect with his children?
well, he is
not.
so much.
But the
harder
only
on
people that we have
Claudia.
ever seen that actually has had a respect for their children's well-being was Ghost. Everyone talks shit about Ghost, but Ghost wanted the best for his children. He did not want his children to be part of a life. But with every other version of power that we've seen the opposite of that. Raquel wants to use her entire family, from her niece to her brothers to her son, in the drug game. Monet, she wants to use her daughter to be a hustler's hoe. She
Right.
wants her son to be a murderer. She wants the other son. I don't even know what aspirations she has for Drew, but you see that these characters, Kate has no value for her son having any level of intelligence but being a thug. You know, so that's what we're seeing is pretty
Well,
synonymous.
at first, Rock wanted to keep Kanan from the game.
She did, but I don't think she pushed that narrative as hard and strongly as Ghost did.
she did.
Ghost, with his dying breath,
I mean,
did
quickly
everything he could
came
to save
before
from
it
it.
came in, though.
Yeah,
I mean, my thing is like I know for you know, from a writer perspective, it's different, you know. But if I'm looking at it, it's kind of like to me, it's kind of like an insult, kind of. You know, it's like how are you supposed to be respected when you can't even get your kids in line? You can't get them to fall in line and get them to move the way, you know what I'm saying?
and that's what
Like, how
Paulie
do-
keeps trying
how
to
are
tell
you-
him, and that's what Paulie is trying to continue to tell him. Like, listen, you're gonna have to do something else different with these kids because what you're doing ain't working. And
Right.
we see scenarios like that in life all the time, that we just want to just keep this one course, and we don't care how many times we derail on this course that we've set for ourselves. At some point, we're going to have to fall back and adjust and say what we want to work for us isn't working.
Right.
So now we're going to have to make adjustments to do something different, even in life and even in business. If you're constantly losing money in a business and you're continuing to want to do the same thing that you think is going to make you money and it's not, you're going to have to change direction. You're going to have to
refocus an
refocus.
inferior product. So you're
You're
gonna
going to
have
have
to
to
change something.
refocus and do something different that's outside of the box, that's unorthodox, that's out of your comfort zone. Walter wants to remain in his comfort zone, and the longer he persists on wanting to stay in that comfort zone, the worse things are going to be for him, because he's trying to force something that isn't working. He's trying to force something that doesn't fit, and he's trying to use people that are ill-equipped and lack the ability to execute his vision. He has a vision for his business. He has a vision for his family, but the people that he has to execute it are ill par. They can't do it. So instead of him readjusting to accommodate the workforce that he has, he's going to try to beat it into them. He's going to try to force it into them, and it ain't going to work. He's going to fail miserably.
I could have. I just maybe I'm dwelling too much on Murder and Mayhem, but I think we could have came into this first season with Walter being killed off by one of the two kids.
It would have been a better storyline.
It would have been a better storyline to follow this storyline of brutality towards Claudia is, I'm sorry, it's
And even
creepy
Vic.
to me. He
It's
literally
like what
tells
we're
her,
doing is
he literally tells her, I'm gonna find out what you're doing so I can crush it under my boot. I was like, what the mother? You. And so when she leans in and says, you're gonna find that you have quite a fight on your hand. We could have just, let's go back. Let's kill Walter off from the beginning. That would have been, we didn't need Walter. What we need Walter for?
We don't
I
need
mean,
to know.
We don't need
even know.
Walter.
I think
Bring
personally,
these kids in brutality. I just the way they're portraying his obsession
that
with
makes
taking Claudia down is sick.
That makes a lot of sense. If they would have came into it and killed them off, and then throughout time we find out throughout the
which one of them did it.
We found out from Vic and Claudia that he was an asshole. Yeah, and it's cool. It's okay. Yeah. But now it's just like you showing us he's an asshole, and one of the kids gonna kill him anyway. I think it's gonna be Claudia.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Claudia.
Now listen, they need to give him some cyanide medicine. In that
because Vic is gonna be focused on Tommy. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Or if that's the case, okay, I agree with what's being said. Let's get rid of Walter. I mean, we know he's sick. We know he's dying anyway. Let's just go ahead and speed that up a little bit. So we
and he insists on that being his storyline. Out of the character's own mouth, he insists on dying.
But
so
then
let's
if that
just
be the
do
case,
this.
Murder and mayhem, let Tommy take him out then.
Yeah, but I think that's supposed to be our cliffhanger.
If none of the kids have the balls to take him out, if they don't have the balls to Tariq him, all they need to do is just let Tommy take him out. Just let Tommy just eliminate him and be done with it. Because I'm sick of him.
My prediction is that Vic, when Walter finally dies, it's not going to be either one of the kids. It's going to be Polly.
Ooh.
Ooh. And then she disappears.
Then she fades to black, right? She dropped the mic.
She dropped the mic.
Sorry, I know I'm doing some stuff over here.
She getting ready for the club.
But it's gonna be Polly. It's gonna be Polly.
Polly go out. She got a hot day.
In this episode, he was doing too much. I'm here. I'm your consigliere. You know I got you. Like I feel like he was trying a little too hard to show his loyalty.
Yeah.
But to get Walter to acknowledge his loyalty.
Yeah.
That's what it was. He was trying to get Walter to acknowledge, I'm your consigliere. Yeah. It's just like, we know that already. You know, we as the fans, the people that are viewing the show, we know that already. So you're looking for.
Even when he went to even that weird awkward scene with him and Vic, when he went to Vic to basically let Vic know that Tommy, his father met with Tommy. It's just, it was weird. It was just, I don't know.
What was the Tommy scene about? Because we see him go to Tommy first and then Vic, and then have this conversation with Paul.
Because he was trying to get Tommy employment. That's why. And Tommy told him kiss his ass.
He need help. He need help. The help that he doesn't have.
But he has this conversation about. Let's really talk about it. He has a conversation about back in Glasgow, what an a-hole his daddy was. And that he and his brother was known as the Belfast Boys. It makes you feel like, who's the brother? How is this related to Tommy? Right?
And how the brother drunk himself to death, and yes, the whole. But
who's on the paperwork? Who's on Granny's paperwork? Why
Tommy saw past all that and saw him for what he really are. Like,
yeah, but
I don't want to do business with you because one, you're not willing to change with the times. You're an old racist. I see how you move. I don't want to hitch my wagon onto a person who operates like
and Vic are in love. They are truly, truly in love. I know she slobbed my knob, but that she didn't do it out of love. It wasn't the same love that she uses on Vic's knob. You got to understand that. Right? It was this is their conversation. Walter says, I can't beat him, so join me. I can't beat you, so join me.
That's what it is. If I can't beat you, join me.
And Tommy says, you know what? Suck it. And by the way, your son is great, and the woman he loves is great. That love is real. And then
let them go on and live that life.
He lightly threatens.
Let them live that life, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He lightly threatens Gloria through Tommy.
Trying to force something that doesn't work. These kids are happy. Let them go be happy. All right. Quit trying to make them be part of the family business when they're not fit for the family business, when they're not suited and they show no interest or skill in the family business. Let them go live happy ever after. Then bring Tommy into the organization. I'm a better fit for your organization because I got the sense for the business. I got the sense for the streets. But you and your ornery ways ain't gonna work with me. We're not gonna work. You're gonna sit here back here and be old Ireland days, racist. I don't like black people and all this stuff, and let it be known to everyone that you don't like black people. But you want people to work with you? No, it ain't gonna work like that. You are just in the way at this point.
I just didn't understand it. It was the puzzle.
Actually, to be quite honest with you, Paulie would probably do a better job at running the business than Walter. Because all he's doing is running it into the ground. He's running it into the ground.
Facts.
And he's isolating, alienating, and ostracizing everyone that's part of the organization, Paulie included.
They have him threaten Gloria through Tommy, right? I wish you was with Gloria, so when she gets snuffed out, it would hurt you the most. Then they have him go and talk with Paulie and basically clear them both of having any part in Gloria's ultimate demise.
I think that's a ruse, though. I think that's a ruse.
Because no, they're saying that the Serbs did it.
No, I think Walter has something to do with it still. I still think Walter has something
but
to do
why show
that's a prediction?
Yeah, but why show us that Walter is clearing his name?
Just because they want that's the way they want us to perceive it. They don't want us, even though some of us have seen this from inception, they still want to throw a monkey wrench of confusion in there with the writing.
Ooh, a monkey wrench of confusion.
To make it seem like, well, you know Walter didn't do it, so he's not this bad of a guy.
But
he absolutely has something to do with it. Whether he was directly responsible, indirectly, he is the reason why, because he never accepted their relationship.
He was definitely
never supported their relationship. He went down to her place of business and threatened her at her job, took a bottle of liquor with him, shaking her down for money, sent Claudia down there with them papers. So ultimately, regardless of whether he pulled the trigger or ordered the trigger to be, he is responsible for it because he did not welcome her into their life. He made it very well known that a black would never be welcome into this family. So regardless of who killed her, he is responsible for it because he did not support his son.
I think he is indirectly responsible. I mean, when we go into the scene,
we might as well, because we're all over the place.
The whole conversation of the matter. Tommy told him, "Don't take your car to leave. Take this car."
But Paulie goes and puts salt in that. Remember?
You know what? But Paulie, I thought Paulie.
But what would be the point of doing that? What would be the point of doing that? That's why I feel like they ultimately did have something to do with it.
Yeah, but was it on purpose? You're right, Juggernaut, but was it on purpose?
Half the story. He told him, he said he came to visit with your dad, and your dad offered him a job. He gave him half the story. He didn't say that time he told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
He didn't say any of that.
Right. Yeah.
So we kind of talked about it already, so I'm not going to want to really spend too much time on it. Bennigan shows up and meets Vic. He gets the payout for him. Vic pretty much tells him, find out who's behind Dahlia, get rid of him. So finally we get an order given to Bennigan, and we know that Bennigan's not going to carry out the order. He's going to take the money, but he's not going to do what he's been hired to do. Jannard having these little clandestine secret meetings with CBI to usurp Diamond's authority, and we're going to move with Gary. We're going to use the people from Gary to find out who this is. Starscream and Megatron from Transformers. I'm going to flip behind his back, and I'm going to put a knife in his back the first chance I get. I'm so sick of that story. I'm so sick of every scene with Jannard in it. We see this.
Except for when he dies. I can't wait for that scene to come up.
I'm eagerly waiting it. Because every time Jannard is on the scene with anyone besides Diamond, it's plotting, it's scheming, it's just, okay, we get the point.
He a snake. That's what they making him out to be.
And then I would have rather them had the scene with Claudia and Vic at the house the same time. So the house is a prop this week. The patio is a prop at the house this week. We have to have several scenes on this patio when we could have all had them in one scene. We could have had both of the kids show up at the same time, and they could have had their own conversations. So now you see Walter have a conversation with Vic. Vic,
but we never see the kids have a conversation together. Vic defends her, okay, but we never see them having a conversation together, the two of them. Because I would have called my sister and been like, look, check it. Daddy's on one. What's up? Where you at? What you doing? Let's work out what our plan is going to be with Daddy, because he's getting worse and worse and worse. And by the way, you know he's sick, right? You know he's sick. Right. We don't see that dynamic between.
We should see them plotting. We should see them plotting and scheming together behind the scenes on how to deal with their father's looming threats.
Yeah,
you know, he keeps issuing all these threats to both of them, and both of them are somewhat bothered by the threats. So, you know, at this point, how do we deal with father? Because he's becoming a bit of a problem.
Father is a problem. Father must go.
He must
go. Must die.
Yes. Do we need to go ahead and put him in hospice? Do we need to have him committed? Do we push him down the stairs? Do we put a pillow on his face at night? I mean, what are we going to do to get rid of him? Because
I say a trip down the stairs. I mean, it's accidental.
He already fell in his head one time. You know, put some cyanide in his Jameson. You know, put a pillow over his face, something. You know, he just need to go home and be with his mother. I mean, with his wife. He need to go be with his wife.
Yeah.
Give him some antifreeze.
Give him some antifreeze or something. You know, just get him on up out of here.
The Jannard. That's what we're talking about. The Jannard and the Indiana Connect, right? After he does the thing with the Hasidic Jew
cousin.
Yeah,
because he ain't got no damn name. They just call him cousin.
Right. Is it me?
Freddie Gibbs character.
Is it me, or did the eye really steal the scene?
Yeah.
Did the eye steal the scene? And is it me? Did the eye steal the scene? Because I was like, okay, maybe they got like a fake eye in there, but no,
it is.
That eye was moving, honey. That eye worked the stage.
Yes, the same thing they did with Jannard's ear.
It was
the same thing they did with Jannard's ear.
It's a contact lens for the people to the side.
It does seem bigger.
I'm like, damn, his eye moving real good.
Yeah, it stole the scene.
I have to rewind and I look, and I'm like, oh shit, you can see his eye behind that.
But it's so distracting.
He's gonna be called the Indiana Eye.
And I wish that they kind of explored in the writing or even with the storytelling. The reason for it, because just like with Jannard's ear, what is the reason for Jannard's ear? Because it's distracting. It's distracting, just like Cousin Ruckus in his eye is distracting.
I mean, I'm gonna have to comment on the eye every time I see it, because it's glare, it's screaming at me like the eye stole the scene.
What is the point of it? You know, what story are they trying to tell with this
I think they're trying to make him seem like, I'm saying, I'm crazy, like you know, I think that's what they're trying to portray him as.
No,
like he's gonna be this psycho boom killer.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're trying to portray him as. But listen, does he not have a beautiful set of teeth, Freddie Gibbs? I was like, look at those choppers. I mean, he steals the scene from me. For me, he steals the scene, just like the moving eye, the rhetoric. You know what I'm saying? Those gorgeous teeth against that beautiful dark skin. You know, those movements. He's got gorgeous henchmen too. You know, I mean, they're super urban. I was like, bring Freddie in. He could be we need. Come on, I just want.
I respect Freddie Gibbs' character more than I respect the
drug dealer, man. I need a head.
I think he's working an angle, though.
I agree.
I think he's working an angle. He's working an angle.
What do you agree about, Juggernaut?
With what Jack said, he said he respects Freddie's character more than he respects Jannard's. I agree with that.
I said that in my review last week. I was like,
I agree with that totally. But I mean, have anybody noticed that? I mean, these Gary cats have a abandoned family.
Oh no! Was he gonna say abandoned fashion? What do you think he was gonna say?
No, he's talking about the warehouse that they always be meeting in.
Oh,
the warehouse that they always be meeting in. Just like I used to say about Power, how I like the fact that Ghost and Tommy never did business at home. They
Yeah.
never did business at their place of business, their legit place of business. They never did business at their individual homes. They always had abandoned warehouses and stuff that they met up with. So I think that's what he was referring to.
Okay.
But I think that guy, he's a little bit more. I think he's just kind of getting the inside scoop on what Jannard's plans are. But I don't really think he with the shit. I really think that he's moving on the side a little bit. Eventually, he's going to see that what's his name is too reckless, and that he's going to probably float over to Diamond's side eventually.
You think we're gonna get more Marshall, or you think Marshall's gonna be fodder? He seems so out of place in this whole situation. Like, why would you bring Marshall and not Blackston?
D-Mac is
Elijah number 2.
D-Mac's going to take him out. D-Mac, I said that last week. D-Mac is going to take him out. Marshall's up out of here.
Yeah,
he's up out of here.
He's useless.
They built that conflict when D-Mac ran up on him and punched him outside the club, and they had.
And he's definitely a complete retard.
And that was one of the better scenes, honestly.
Bad $20K.
Yeah. What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about Jannard's proposal? His plan is he takes these drugs, he gives it to the Indiana Eye, and then all he wants as a payment is for Indiana Eye to bring his goons down and lay waste to anybody who's in his way.
He needs that muscle. He needs that type of muscle because he doesn't have it with those 16-year-olds. He doesn't have it with those 16-year-olds. So if he's really going to try to move in and be a major player like the Serbians and like the Flynn family and even fuck with Tommy, you definitely going to need to bring some heat, and you don't have it in your organization right now.
But you have you have the opportunity.
Yeah,
to shank your own brother in the back, but you don't have.
That's what I was just about to get ready to say. Like at this point, I think he's putting his nuts on the table and say, "Okay, here they are." By bringing them Gary cats, over there, it's going to expose what he been doing eventually.
And it shows you as a coward and weak.
He's definitely a coward.
Coward.
Gary cats, the warehouse bandits.
Yeah. And so I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit because we spend a lot of time on some of these other characters that don't really matter. Mm-hmm. So we already kind of talked about JP going up to the hospital and visiting the grandmother and trying to ask about the emergency contact. She dies. And she dies before we even find out who the emergency contact is. So are we left to assume that was Kate because he ended up calling Kate at the end of this show? So probably. I'm assuming that's what that was all about. He goes to tell Tommy that, the grandmother has passed and gives Tommy the keepsake box. And now Tommy is wrestling with his emotions and looking at the USB stick and going down memory lane, contemplating whether or not he wants to call his mom. And, I really wish I would like to know where they're going with this story. Mm-hmm. We already knew in Power that Tommy had a fractured relationship with his mother. Is the end goal for him to repair his relationship with his mom? Because if they're going to have more conflict, why bring her on the show? We already know he can't see his mom. We already know that they have a fractured relationship, borderline incestuous relationship. So, why are we revisiting this in this show? Kate should be afterthought.
Why lock JP in? Why lock JP in as the cook? Right? Why bring JP in any closer than what you need to? Because Claudia really could have found a cook. She found the first one. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, she could have been in charge of that, right? But why lock JP in and he's a potential liability? Because for you to even bring Kate's name up means you get iced out. I'm not saying kill, but I'm not giving you no information because you keep bringing up Kate. And Kate
what you think she's gonna do when she get there and find out about this drug? If she's already a crackhead,
they call her up. She got an acid wash 2-piece on, get into a Camaro.
She's gonna be the first person we see OD off Dahlia.
Or something gonna happen to her. When she get a hold of that drug, she gonna be
the first person. She's gonna be the first person we see OD on that shit.
Unless there's a story that's gonna tie in with Walter involving Kate, there is really no purpose of her being on the show.
Just to show a family of dysfunction. If you think about it, every family you see, like
on
When you-
Power is a family and dysfunction. Yep.
Yep.
She only has purpose if she
But we know
knits
that already.
the Flynns
We
with her
saw
We
that.
know,
family.
right. We
saw
know
that
it
for 7
already.
years straight.
But they gotta
that
offer
were
that. They
family
gotta give that
dysfunction.
perception.
I guess. We have this conversation with the cook and Claudia, which we already said earlier on, that was a conversation that was better suited for Liliana to have with Claudia instead of the cook. Leave this lady alone. She's doing what y'all asked her to do. Quit bothering her, because now you're building it up where she's going to be a threat to y'all. Y'all building up where she's going to run to the feds on y'all, or y'all. It's almost like they're building up where they're trying to make it where they have to kill her, and it's unnecessary. It's
I did too. Keep it
Yeah,
cute.
they forcing that kill.
Yeah, I did too. Keep it cute. Yeah.
The conversation with Paulie and Walter, we've seen that over and over again, where Paulie is trying to talk some sense into Walter in his old ways. We see Claudia go meet with Diamond. Diamond brushes her off and is like, well, look, if you offer me 10%, that means you have partners that don't know that you're here. I don't want no parts of it. Get out. I was very pleased to see Diamond actually call Adriana out on her bullshit. Like, what are you really here for? Are you here for this story, or are you feeling something here? So what do you think what do you think is going to go with that? Do you think they're going to end up hooking up? You think she's going to abandon her story and she's going to really be his ride or die? What do you see happening with this reporter?
She definitely going to abandon the story.
Yeah, I that whole, but I'm in love with you now. That whole scene, that shit blew me, man.
Yep.
I think she's definitely going to abandon the story. She might not tell she might not tell who she worked for that she's abandoning the story, and she probably try to twist it some other way. But she's definitely going to abandon the story. She ain't got no choice at this point.
But to what end? To what end? Like, we giving him a girlfriend now. Just go ahead and knit him a sweater and get him a station wagon and you know what I'm saying, put him to work in the library.
Give him a couple of kids and write them off into the sunset.
I said it last week. Diamond is being positioned as a potential fodder, as potentially getting his water cut off. Why do we need Diamond at this point? Are we going to see something from Diamond that makes us think that he actually is in this thing to win this thing? Is it what Jannard is setting up with the Indiana boys? Because Tommy is rooting for the character, for the Diamond character.
I find it interesting that she was about to meet up with Elijah.
I mean, but that was convenient. Yeah, Elijah really didn't carry very much weight up until this point. Turns out he was going to be having conversation. Like, I don't know, man.
Like right.
I don't know why we're doing this. To give him a girlfriend, that's fine. Let's just give him a girlfriend. That's fine. I'd like to have seen her slap his face and then him slap her face and then she slap his face and then they start kissing and they turn into this. I mean, come on. It would have been more interesting. He sticks it to her like he's gonna, I'm saying, you're caught. And she's like, but wait, Big Daddy, purr. I think, purr. He was like, I can't quit your cuteness. Right?
Slap his face and then he slapped her face and then
it could have been like a little bit more brutal. It could have been more impactful. I don't know.
Brutality in any form or fashion that she could get it.
I mean, it was gonna lead to sex. It was gonna lead to sex. But I mean, otherwise, what weight does the character? What weight does the character? Okay, that's fine. He's got a girlfriend, somebody to cry at his graveside.
Maybe it's like they got to give him somebody like a ride or die.
Well, they do. They have to give him, because right now he's on the outs with Tommy.
He's on the outs with Tommy. Jannard
don't mean him no good. Right. So they got, in order to keep the character alive and us not lose interest in him, let's give him a love interest.
Well, we could actually have him do some drug dealing.
Or we could actually have him do some murdering and drug dealing.
We could actually have him be spying on his brother, you know what I'm saying, and seeing where he going and how he moving.
And taking out rival crews and gangs on the side. Keeping
an eye on Tommy.
Yeah, keep an eye on Tommy.
Keep an eye
Eliminate
on
the Flynn
Vic.
family. Eliminate the Flynn
Well,
family.
I mean,
Nope. We need to give him something for him to play with. We need to have an occasional sex scene here or there to keep
right.
the steaminess in the
Character
show.
and the interest, yeah.
So let's just give him a piece of ass to play with everyone.
It's supposed to
Right,
give
now
this
we
idea
get-
that he's
get a
wise.
list, we get, oh, you're caught because I used my cell phone to research who you were.
Right.
And he has anonymity, but she's found articles. There's article posted up at the with your drug name, not your real name, which is David. It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
Whatever. But okay, you had anonymity. You know what I'm saying? You were supposed to be the ghost. No, boo. No, boo. You're a
Everybody knows
librarian.
about you. Right.
Yeah, you're square. Right? Yeah, you're square. You're a big old block of Velveeta. You know what I'm saying? Like, You're as mainstream Americana as they come, right? You're the apple pie of the drug game, dude.
It bothered me with the scene with Tommy bringing him the clean car, title, key, and everything because it showed us a different side of Tommy that we're not accustomed to seeing. Mm-hmm. And when he made the comment about, I'm a fan of love, I'm a fan of family, you know, I want to do what's right thing.
I'm not doing this for you, I'm doing it for her.
I'm doing it for her. We saw a softer side to Tommy that we normally are not accustomed to seeing. And the fact that they just
we've seen it before.
The fact that they let Vic made such a stupid choice.
We've seen it before. We've seen it in Power. He was about to get married himself.
Yeah, a bit of with Lala, but they wouldn't have had a good life.
Oh yeah,
they wouldn't have had a good life. Lala was just acting a fool everywhere, you know. Just
Lala thought she was gonna be Tasha, but she could never be Tasha because Tommy was never gonna be Ghost.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's why that wasn't gonna work. Him and Holly would have been a better match than him and Lala. Lala had a liability with her son, and that's what they used ultimately to get her to flip.
But the same issue Tommy had with Holly, he got with Claudia.
Yep, that's the exact same problem.
That right there. Talk too much. You run your mouth too much.
I want to put a little cash in this now.
Yep. No, we're not going to see no more cash. If we see anything with cash, no. If I would say that if we didn't have a DMAC, what we seen with DMAC when they had that, what was that whole interaction about? Break that scene down to me because it seems like a scene that should have took place last week.
I think it is I think that DMAC actually wants to come out and say who he is and his reason. But at the same time, I'm not going to give them that because, hey, at the end of the day, like you said, teachers thought I was stupid. I'm not stupid. And, you know, it's starting to show that he knows a little something. I wish he just come out and say that JP is my father and that be that and you my uncle. I wish that just happens. But now
I'm away from the suspenseful findings.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying? You had Tommy follow him like, what this kid up to? He finds the gun, he finds the pictures. Now what?
That scene, it was good, but misplaced. It didn't have the impact it needed to have because it didn't have any supporting storyline around it. All of a sudden, DMAC went from being a hitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Running this drug game. Now he's standing in front of Tommy like, yeah, my teachers, yeah, I got a thing for numbers. They're just in my head. People think I'm dumb, but it's just because this math in my head just won't quit. Yeah, fine. And Tommy's like, oh, he gives him a couple of SAT questions. You know, if the train leaves the station at 5:00 and it's carrying half a key of drugs, right? What time does it arrive? You know, in Peoria. And he's like, well, there's variables. And if you carry the one, are we talking about the metric system? Because traditionally, he came across as this little kid. But in this episode, we see them portray JP like a savant, but with chemistry, and DMAC is the new Rain Man, except he's a little better off, right? He can run these numbers. Okay, so Tommy's got his camp all set up with family. We'll talk about how it's going to blow up Shway later. But then at the same time, Tommy follows one of the few drug dealers that's following other people successfully, follows D-Mac and finds where he's just got his box of memories and just a couple of leaves over it. Gingerly, and Tommy was like, "Oh, I've got your box of memories in here. I see that my brother is your dad." Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, this is gonna be.
D-Mac respects Tommy more than D-Mac respects CBI, whatever. The way that D-Mac came off as his hitter and did now they pretty much changing him into a genius.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, I don't really like that at all.
It's nonsensical.
Yeah, I don't.
He put more investigation into D-Mac than he does into JP.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, it's just like I said, that scene should have developed last week. What we had a repeat of last week's scene. We literally had a repeat of last scene. The only difference was in this week, Tommy didn't put a strap on him.
Mm-hmm.
This week, Tommy was less threatened. This week, Tommy was less threatened by him spying on him, but it was the same damn thing that we saw last week. D-Mac was lurking in the shadows somewhere and pop up on Tommy, and Tommy seen him with his back turned. Oh, I see you watching me. It was the exact same scene last week.
I'm trying to diversify. I'm trying to diversify. See, I like to diversify my portfolio.
You should have explored this last week when y'all had the conversation. Why revisit it this week in the exact same scenario?
I actually thought they were going to do it last week.
And they should have, because this was just.
They got all these scenes and they don't even know how to place them in order successfully.
They are redundant and they're reusing them. They're recycling them with different conversations, but it's the exact same thing that we saw.
Different conversations and different characters, because this to happen every single power. It's always some mystical, thing behind something, and you use it's been recycled since the first series.
And really, the last thing I want to talk about is, I guess, the highlight of this week's show, in which that being Gloria's death, which we saw this.
Mm-hmm.
We saw this all throughout the episode. But again, going back to last week's episode, out of place episodes. What was the point of her going away last week, leaving the love letter, and him sitting around in the club all depressed over her, him calling her phone and going straight to voicemail, him not knowing where she's at in this world, dead or alive, all of a sudden I just needed a moment to clear my head and I'm back.
Right. How much time has passed between this moment?
Yeah, how much time is it? A couple of weeks, 2 months later, 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later? It seemed like she was back the next day, the same day.
That was extremely dumb.
She just went to the Ross 2 towns over.
They're playing up this whole D-Mac situation. They're playing up this whole D-Mac situation. Where is his mother? Who is his mother? Why does he keep hiding this stuff in this little lock box that's buried in the ground? Because
in the ground, lightly under the leaves.
Yeah, it's under the leaves.
That anyone can find. It's got guns, money, family pictures, guns, money, a passport, a key to a safe deposit box. I mean, whatever is in this lock box, there's just some leaves piled on top of it.
Could it be his mother is dead?
No, his mother's not dead, because the whole purpose of him having the lockbox is obviously he can't hide these things in his room at home in fear that his mom would find them.
So maybe his mom is strict.
Exactly. Show us her. Show us the mama.
Ghost, I'm sorry. Ghost would have known what was going on with the granny. He would have had the kid followed. He would have known where the kid lived, what the kid was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like it just you putting a pin in D-Mac and JP. I don't know. It's great in theory, but the setup just seems flawed, and it seems like it's not gonna last. I go back to JP possibly being killed at some point, whether it's thanks to Kate or thanks to D-Mac. I don't think D-Mac is gonna get to really know JP. I think JP is going to be out of there beforehand.
I think it's going to be a situation like they did. where they did with Kanan and Tariq, where Tommy's really going to be JP's father, like Kanan was really Tariq's father figure. JP's going to be out of the way, so now Tommy's going to get his wish of having a child of his own. You know, he was trying to be close to Tariq. He was trying to be close to Cash. His son with Holly got killed by his own hand. So now we're going to replace all that with D-Mac.
JP said, I'm not going to let you down, Tommy. Tommy said, I know you won't. It was something ominous in that conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, they could still plug in any scene they want for episode 9, but I don't see JP sticking around.
Well, with that being said, let's move into predictions. What do y'all think is going to happen next week?
I think Claudia just might kill her daddy.
I think Liliana's in danger. And the only reason why I think Liliana's in danger is because if we are going to go with this narrative that the Serbs are responsible for Gloria's death, there's going to ignite a war next week. There's going to be a war in the streets.
Well, we already seen the war.
And I think that Liliana's going to be collateral damage. Go ahead.
I think JP is going to be in danger. I think JP is going to be the overall collateral damage. You're going to see Vic manifest to this savage because now he doesn't have a care in the world. His only care in the world was Gloria. And now that her water got turned off, he got nothing else to lose. It's going to be the reckless abandon kind of, and I think he's just going to turn. I think he's going to turn on everybody at this point.
Do you think that Diamond's ever going to figure out that Jenard is working an agenda against him? I can't see how they got him so naive to that. Do you think he knows and just hasn't spoke on it and just hasn't reacted to it?
I think he does.
I think so too.
I don't think he's completely numb to Jenard movement.
Mm-hmm.
So you think while we thought Jenard was playing Diamond out, Diamond was really positioning Jenard to get busted.
Exactly.
Facts.
And you know what? Going back to what you keep saying, Miss Honey, I think what we're seeing, I keep saying this is in parallel to what you're seeing. What I'm seeing is a little bit different. You think that it's going to be JP that gets killed or gets shot or something happen. I can see it being D-Mac. I can easily see it being D-Mac. It's this son that I've been trying to get my hands on all these years. He's within my grasp now. I can put my arms around him and hug him. Oh, son, you're back in my life again. They're going to snatch that moment.
I can see that.
And what would be a bigger hurt? Us losing JP or us losing D-Mac? I feel like as fans, we would be bothered more about losing D-Mac than JP. If JP died, we wouldn't care. It's just like when Claudia killed Mai. We didn't miss her at all. She was nuisance from the beginning.
Mine could have been our other cook though.
Yeah, mine could have been the other cook. Yeah.
Okay, so this is how I look at it. Who are the two crews? Who are the two rivalry crews? Like, who's gonna go up against what Tommy's got going on?
The Flynn family.
Okay.
They're the most threatened by it.
Right. Okay. So knowing that, how does what the CBI's got going on affect Tommy? How does it affect the Flynn's?
The reason why
who's Diamond gonna go up against? Like what
family is that they have legit businesses. They have businesses for fronts. They got this dialysis clinic. They're living in a mansion on the hill. They have a very high lifestyle, which means they're accustomed to making a certain level of money. Tommy's new drug is a threat to that because now people are going to be less interested in buying pills and what they got going on and more interested in Tommy with his street drug. And he's taking it by two dynamics. He's taking it from the club side and he's taking it by the street side, where really the Flynn family should be doing what they're doing right now. They should have already been pushing the pills in the clubs. they should have already been selling their drugs in a club. So I feel like Walter is going to be more threatened. And even though we see it with Jannard is threatened, but they're still making money. And they're still making money that they're content with. Whereas with the Flynn family, look, they've been saying it all season. Our numbers are falling. And so Tommy's 55K a key drug is going to continue to have their numbers spiral downward. So I can see a war inciting between the Flynn family and Tommy's organization that Tommy may have to end up getting Diamond to help him out with. But I think the conflict is really going to be between Walter, his kids, and Tommy.
Walter's gone. Vic's fight against Tommy is going to be because of Gloria. He thinks Tommy did this, which is why he left the car Tommy did and took his own car.
Yep.
Him going against Tommy is going to be about Gloria.
Yep. Initially,
so we got to position Claudia, right? We got to position Claudia to be the
initially. I think Claudia and Vic and all of them are going to think that Tommy's responsible for Gloria's death, but eventually the truth is going to come out. And
can we all see that it's just so crazy that here we are again, and Tommy is the reason for somebody losing the love of their life.
This ain't Tommy's fault though.
No, it's not Tommy's fault. But like, just think about it for a minute. He shot Angie. We all know that. But now this situation takes place, which I think Vic had, I think Walter had everything to do with this shit. Me personally. But it's just crazy.
I mean, indirectly, because even if it is the Serbs, what he did with the Serbs is why they would have revenge again. So you're right. Either way, I just feel like who's going to be the rivals? Who's going to be the two strongest rivals in season 2? When you really, really look at it, they're not setting CBI up to be anything other than a potential alliance. Which eliminates Jannard altogether, unless he's just going to have a 360-degree turn from the kill Tommy mindset that he's had this entire season.
I think it's going
right. I think Diamond could possibly be in the running to get snubbed. I definitely think Claudia is a possibility. JP, I don't see what we're doing with JP.
I think that if we talking rivals against each other, I think it's going to be Walter against Claudia.
If we move JP out, Liliana can do the cooking. We can have Diamond run the streets with Tommy.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back, saying, I'm going to take my boot and I'm going to crush what you got.
It was harsh.
All right. Jack, you got any predictions?
Just that I think that Vic is gonna become a savage, and JP probably gonna be a casualty of war. Something's gonna happen to JP. I kind of like, now that you shed some light on the whole D-Mac and JP relationship, finally becoming like full circle. I could definitely see one of them getting hit, and that moment is being stolen away from him. But I think this is going to be the unlocking of a new Vic because he has nothing to lose.
Yep, he has nothing to lose, and he's lost everything that mattered to him. So,
I really think we get a week that Diamond knows.
I think we get a week break next week. I don't know. We'll see.
How many episodes in this season?
2 episodes.
10. Wow. Yeah, which would be stupid if they give us a week break just for the last 2 episodes. But you know how they do.
50.
Yep. And because they have all these issues going on at Stars right now, I think that this is just the prelude to this hiatus that we're going to be on with Power. But good thing we got P-Valley.
All right.
Yeah, there's going to be a 6-month hiatus.
Snowfall last night.
Oh yeah, Snowfall. I need to catch
up on that. You said what?
Okay, so I was going to say, so the game and 50 Cent is beefing.
Mm-hmm.
Because something went on. But anyway, the game basically, and it kind of hurt a little bit, I think, because I reviewed the show, but the game was like, you got that weak R sports, that's what you need to be writing for. Because you're not writing no raps. You ain't did no album. And I was like, oh, I feel like everybody knows that the season has kind of been lackluster, kind of been trash. And I had so much hope for what 50 Cent was doing, especially with Courtney being gone and him bringing in these heavy hitter actors in the franchise. But because we have so many questions and so many unanswered questions about this episode, I'm just like, I thought this was going to be a better season than what it is. Do y'all think we're going to get a legitimate finale, something that we can really sink our teeth in?
Well, Gloria's death should have been that, but now that Gloria's death has happened in episode 8, you ask yourself, if bringing Kate back is going to be the season finale, then I'm really going to be disappointed, because we've known from episode 1 that Kate was coming.
Mhm.
So, her showing up in the last episode ain't going.
We're gonna see Kate Sunday, and we have.
Yeah, we're gonna see Kate next week probably. Kate gonna be here next week. But what's the cliffhanger? The only thing I can see them doing as a cliffhanger is Jannard flat out trying to kill Diamond. That's your cliffhanger.
Or
Mhm.
Claudia or Paulie killing Walter.
That can be your cliffhanger. Other than that, or something happens to D-Mac, or something happens to JP, it's going to be those 4 characters. Is the only thing that we're going to be satisfied with being a cliffhanger. Or Liliana getting killed. That's the only thing that's going to happen that's going to leave us feeling like we were on a cliffhanger. But Force could have been an extension of book 2. They could have just left Tommy's character over there in book 2 and been done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not going to say the actor itself can't carry a show, but the story that y'all are writing for him is not suited for Tommy. Y'all should have left Tommy in New York. Y'all should have left Tommy having beef with Tasha and Tariq. That was more of a storyline. But to me, that was an unfinished storyline that y'all left over there. But now you're creating a whole new storyline for him over here that's just full of holes.
I agree.
Again, Tommy's got to have a crew. They're leading in with him building a successful crew. And so the only thing that we can lose really out of this crew, you need a numbers man. You need it. He's got too many numbers. That ain't JP. That's D-Mac.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You said the only thing that we can lose out of this crew, and I'm saying is JP. That's JP. The only thing.
Yeah, JP's the only one we can lose out of this crew.
We can lose out of Tommy's crew and not miss.
Mm-hmm. The only 2 assets
Claudia.
towards
we can lose Claudia out of Tommy's crew.
Exactly, because we got D-Mac. Claudia was originally the numbers person.
Yep.
But now we got D-Mac. The only 2 out of Jannard and Diamond, the only 2 that works with Tommy as an ally for Tommy is going to be Diamond. Mm-hmm. Jannard is never going to work. He can't, because they set him up all this season to have this obsessed hatred for Tommy. Yep. So just using this logic, we could lose D-Mac. We could lose Jannard, right? If you're going to put the Flynn's as the formidable foe, why do we need Jannard as the formidable foe? He's just a fly at the picnic. Swat him and let's move on.
Yep, swat him and let us move on.
So we got our 2 foes, right? We got the Flynn's, whether it's Walter or which I don't think it will be, Paulie and Claudia. I mean, Claudia. Well, Paulie too. Maybe Paulie, Claudia, and Vic, and Tommy's organization minus JP.
Well, let's see what happens, y'all. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in as usual. We appreciate y'all. We always enjoy y'all in the comments and the chats. We'll be back next week to talk about something. We'll see.